Shiva Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaura Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhadale. Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Shamariti Namani Namaste Sarasvati Vigaravani Vacharni Vishesha Nevali Bashiri Satani. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Narada's instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam, text number 23. Om Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aham Pura Atita Bhave Abhavam Mune Dasya Tu Kasyashchana Vedavadinam Narupita Balaka Eva Yoginam Shushrushane Pravrashi Nirvikshatam Aham Paratita Bhave Bhavam Mune Das Yasta Kasya Chanaveda Vadinam Nirupita Balaka Eva Yoginam Shrushrushane Pravrashi Nirvikshatam Aham Paratita Bhave Bhavam Mune Das Yasta Kasya Chanaveda Vadinam Nirupita Balakateva Yoginam Shrushrushane Pravrashi Nirvikshatam. Tasyashtu kashyashchana vedavadinam Nirupita balakateva yoginam Pravrashi nirvikshatam. Nirupita balakadeva yoginam Shushrushane pravrashi nirvivikshatam Aham paratita bhave bhavam mune Dasyastakasyachana vedavadinam nirupita balakada eva yoginam Shushrushane pravashine vivikshatam Ahang paratita bhave bhavamune Dasyastakasyastana vedavadinam Nirupita balakara eva yoginam Shusharushane pravrashine vivikshatam Ahang paratita bhave bhavamune Dasyastakasyastana vedavadinam Nirupita balakata eva yoginam Shusharushane pravrashine vivikshatam Ladies, Ahang paratita bhave bhavamune Dasyastakasyastana vedavadinam Nirupita balakara eva yoginam Shushrushane pravrashine vivikshatam Ahang paratita bhave bhavamune Dasyastakasyastana vedavadinam Nirupita balaka eva yoginam Shushane pravrashine vivikshatam Ahang paratita bhave bhavamune Dasyastakasyastana vedavadinam Nirupita balakata eva yoginam Shushrushane pravashine vivikshatam Ahang paratita bhave bhavamune Dasyastakasyastana vedavadinam Nirupita balaka eva yoginam Shushrushane pravashine vivikshatam Aham I Pura formerly Atita bhave in the previous millennium Mavavam became Mune, O Muni, Dasya of the maidservant, to but Kashyachana, certain Vedavadinam of the followers of Vedanta, Nirupita, engaged, Balaka, boy servant, Eva, only, Yoginam, of the devotees, Shushrushane, in the service of Pravrishi, during the 4 months of the rainy season, Nirvivikshatam, living together. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. O Muni, in my past life, in the last millennium, I was born as the son of a certain maidservant engaged in the service of Brahmins who were following the principles of Vedanta. When they were living together during the 4 months of the rainy season, I was engaged in their personal service. Purport. The wonder of an atmosphere surcharged with devotional service to the Lord is briefly described herein by Sri Narad Muni. He was the son of the most insignificant parentage. He was not properly educated. Still, because his complete energy was engaged in the service of the Lord, he became an immortal sage. Such is the powerful action of devotional service. The living entities are the marginal energy of the Lord, and therefore they are meant for being properly utilized in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. When this is not done, one situation is called Maya. Therefore, the illusion of Maya is at once dissipated as soon as one's full energy is converted in the service of the Lord instead of in sense enjoyment. From the personal example of Sri Narad Muni in his previous birth, it is clear that the service of the Lord begins with the service of the Lord's bona fide servants. The Lord says that the service of his servants is greater than his personal service. Service of the devotee is more valuable than the service of the Lord. One should therefore choose a bona fide servant of the Lord constantly engaged in his service, accept such a servant as the spiritual master, and engage himself in his, the spiritual master's, service. Such a spiritual master is the transparent medium by which to visualize the Lord, who is beyond the conception of the material senses. By service of the bona fide spiritual master, the Lord consents to reveal himself in proportion to the service rendered. Utilization of the human energy in the service of the Lord is the progressive path of salvation. The whole cosmic creation becomes at once identical with the Lord as soon as service in relation to the Lord is rendered under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. The expert spiritual master knows the art of utilizing everything to glorify the Lord, and therefore under his guidance the whole world can be turned into the spiritual abode by the divine grace of the Lord's servant. Wow. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatam Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Dam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Svaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Narada Muni was blessed by the association of these great sages during the Chaturmash. Simple boy, not highly educated, But just by the mercy of these Bhakti Vedantas, you see, he became completely transformed. So we also have the mercy of a Bhakti Vedanta. Transform us. So just as Narada Muni was transformed by serving the Bhakti Vedantas, we must become now transformed by serving the Bhakti Vedanta. Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful, wonderful purport. The wonder of an atmosphere surcharged with devotional service to the Lord is briefly described herein by Narada Muni. Any atmosphere where there is bhakti, that is very, very wonderful atmosphere. Wonderful means auspicious. Wonderful means that delivers one from all miserable conditions. Right now we're suffering like anything. Adhyatmic, adhibhotic, adhidaivic miseries are being whipped by the modes of nature. But this wonderful atmosphere of devotional service, which is there in the association of the Bhakti Vedantas or the Bhakti Vedanta, you see, it liberates us from all the sufferings of material existence. We get relief. Here we have been suffering for countless eons of lifetimes. Immeasurable number of lifetimes we've been suffering like anything through the 8,400,000 species. But now we have the opportunity, because Prabhupada has created this wonderful atmosphere. We can plug into that atmosphere, which is non-different from the atmosphere that Narada Muni plugged into, you see. Just as Narada Muni was transformed by that association, by that service, by that atmosphere, we can also be transformed. The second sentence, he was the son of the most insignificant parentage. Well, I think we qualify for that one too. I know my parents weren't great transcendentalists, ordinary meat-eating Christians. They were nice people, but they didn't have transcendental realization. They had some faith in God, that was good, but what was the level of that faith? My mother had a program that teach me how to believe in God. She said, "Little Stevie, what do you want for Christmas?" I said, "Mommy, I want some cowboy boots." I said, "Okay, every night you can, little Stevie, now pray to God for cowboy boots. Dear God, please give me a pair of cowboy boots for Christmas." My evening prayer. And under the Christmas tree on Christmas morning, what was there? Cowboy boots. You see, so that's how I was trained to believe in God, He's the order supplier in the sky. Whatever you want, you pray to God for and you get it. So this is the caliber of training, therefore I say insignificant parentage. He was not properly educated. Well, we had education, but what was the caliber of education, Elementary school, high school, college. What kind of education do we have? I mean, really, it's just garbage. Really garbage education. We qualify also not being properly educated, insignificant parentage. Let's see what else. Still, because his complete energy was engaged in the service of the Lord, he became an immortal sage. Well, I know I'm still trying to figure out how to get my complete energy engaged. But this is the real thing. We have to learn how to completely engage our energy in Krishna service. Not just part of our energy, you see. This process is it's an evolution of how to gradually increase the percentage of our energy that we engage in Krishna service. Our thoughts, our words, our deeds, you see. How to max out the utilization of our energy. That's absolutely every portion of our energy is completely absorbed in Krishna service. That's the real challenge we face, we neophytes. How to get all of our energy engaged in Krishna service. Because when you do so, you become an immortal sage. Such is the powerful action of devotional service. Actually, there's nothing more powerful than devotional service. How we can say that? Krishna is the most powerful, but devotional service is so powerful, it conquers Krishna. So devotional service is even more powerful than Krishna himself. We just have to learn how to utilize that. The powerful action of devotional service. The living entities are the marginal energy of the Lord, and therefore they are meant for being properly utilized in the transcendental living service of the Lord. Well, because Krishna, we're in his energy, therefore we're meant to serve him. Simple thing. We exist simply because Krishna is manifesting us. We don't exist because our mother and father wanted to have a baby. Because Krishna desires us to be here because Krishna likes association. They say that man is a social animal, you see. Just like birds flock together, we human beings like to flock together. It's our nature. So that nature is originally there in God. God loves association. That's why he's manifesting us. He could just be all alone if he wanted to be. Atmaram, self-enjoyer. But his enjoyment is to expand an infinite number of living entities from himself to enjoy an infinite variety of loving relationships. Every single jiva, although there are 5 basic divisions of rasa, within that there's an infinite number of subdivisions, because every single jiva is a unique taste for Krishna. Every single jiva gives him a certain taste of relationship he gets only with that particular jiva. And that's why when a jiva falls into the material world, Krishna is missing a taste. He's missing that particular type of loving relationship he would have with that particular devotee. So Krishna is very much missing every one of us who are caught up right now in this material existence. So to satisfy Krishna, he's missing us like anything. To satisfy Krishna, we should go back for his satisfaction, and automatically then we are satisfied when he is satisfied. When this is not done, and we don't utilize our energy in Krishna's service, this is called Maya. I'm in Maya if I don't use my energy for Krishna. Even if it's only an insignificant, infinitesimal portion of my energy, I'm still in Maya, you see. And until I become a 100% pure devotee, as Prabhupada told me, now you become qualified to see Krishna face to face. Until I come to that point, I'm still in Maya. You see, I'm in Maya. Therefore, the illusion of Maya is at once dissipated as soon as one's full energy is converted in the service of the Lord instead of sense enjoyment. That's the challenge we all face. How to get the full energy, absolutely every bit of our energy in Krishna consciousness. That's the challenge we face. Going from the neophyte level to becoming an advanced devotee and becoming a perfect devotee. That's the challenge, how to get that full energy. From the personal example of Sri Narada Muni in his previous birth, it is clear that the service of the Lord begins with the service of the Lord's bona fide servants. You can't just be a devotee of Krishna. Krishna says, no, if you're my devotee, you're not my devotee. Ye me bhakta jana parta, na me bhakta tate janaha, mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamata. If you're my devotee, na me bhaktas, you're not my devotee. But if you're the devotee of my devotee, then you are my devotee. Very, very important point. Prabhupada is emphasizing it here. Service of the devotee is more valuable than the service of the Lord. One should therefore choose a bona fide servant of the Lord, constantly engaged in his service, accept such a servant as a spiritual master, and engage himself in the spiritual master's servant. Such a spiritual master is the transparent medium by which to visualize the Lord who is beyond the conception of the material senses. By service of the bona fide spiritual master, the Lord consents to reveal himself in proportion to the service rendered. So, if I surrender 10% to my spiritual master, I have 10% of Krishna. I have 10% of perception of Krishna. When I fully surrender to my spiritual master, absolutely 10%, as Prabhupada said, you see, qualify yourself to see Krishna face to face. That happens when one is absolutely, totally, every thought, word, and deed, in all times, places, and circumstances, absolutely, completely absorbed in purely serving the spiritual master. Utilization of the human energy in the service of the Lord is the progressive path of salvation. The whole cosmic creation becomes at once identical with the Lord as soon as service in relation with the Lord is rendered under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Wow. In other words, you don't have to think, when you're in that level, you don't have to think about going back to Godhead, because you're already directly associating with Krishna at every minute. The whole cosmic creation becomes absolutely identical with Krishna. You're directly experiencing Krishna at every minute when one comes to that point of full surrender. Pretty amazing stuff. The expert spiritual master knows the art of utilizing everything to glorify the Lord, and therefore under his guidance the whole world can be turned into the spiritual abode by the divine grace of the Lord's servant. That's powerful stuff. This whole world can be made the spiritual world. Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York City can all be turned into the spiritual world. The expert spiritual master. We see the Prabhupada as that expert spiritual master. Many of us are doing that service on the order of Srila Prabhupada, but we're not so expert. We're still overcoming the inexpertise, the inexpert nature. Still praying for Prabhupada's mercy so we can overcome that inexpert nature, so we can actually follow this instruction and turn this whole world into the spiritual world, you see. We're just praying we cannot stop being such incompetent nincompoops and become really expert spiritual masters, you see. Can really do this. I mean, this is amazing stuff. Prabhupada actually said it would happen. He had a conversation with Allen Ginsberg. He said there's a 10,000-year period that began 500 years ago when Chaitanya came. And during this 10,000-year period, it peaks off where the whole world actually does become Krishna conscious, and then it tapers off again and goes into full-blown Kali Yuga. So it's nicely predicted by Prabhupada in that conversation with Allen Ginsberg. The whole world will indeed become the spiritual. It's going to happen. So how fast it will happen, that's how much we can overcome our inexpertise and become actually expert spiritual masters and servants of the spiritual masters. Expert means Goswami, the senses are fully, purely absorbed. Every thought, every word, every deed, in all times, places, and circumstances, absolutely, totally absorbed in Krishna's service. That will make us expert. There's so many experts in so many fields. Expert biologists, expert dentists, expert bankers. Now we have to become expert spiritual masters. Initiating or siksha or diksha. We have to become expert spiritual masters. It's our duty. Stop being incompetent nitwits. Become very expert spiritual masters. knowing how to utilize everything in all times, places, and circumstances perfectly in the service of Krishna. The world needs such leadership. It's our duty to come to that position where we can actually provide the leadership, the expert leadership the whole planet needs. We should become so expert that the presidents, the prime ministers of the world all come to us. How can we solve the problems of this country? That's the expertise we need to develop. The leaders will come to us and beg for guidance in all fields. The educational institutions, political institutions, every institution. They will come to us and beg for guidance how we can make this perfect, where everyone can become happy. So it's amazing what Prabhupada has given us. It's absolutely amazing. This gift bestowed upon us by Srila Prabhupada. Low-born, improperly educated monkeys, practically speaking. This reminds me of Lord Ram and the monkeys. You see, Prabhupada's like Lord Ram and we're his monkeys. He did amazing things with those monkeys. So Prabhupada can do amazing things with us. Just to be sold out servants like those monkeys were sold out to Ram, we to be sold out to Prabhupada. And that way he can do amazing things. Prabhupada is still here. He's still acting. We may not be able to see him with our gross vision, but he's still here and he's still acting right now. He's acting through his sold out servants to bring about that spiritual revolution on this planet. So let us be those sold out servants. Not, like that one monkey, what is it? Baro baro bandale baro baro pe lankadinke mataharahe. Big monkey, big belly, Ceylon, jumping, melancholy. Why not be like that monkey? He ate so much, so many ladus, he couldn't do his service. We don't want to use ISKCON for sense gratification. You see? We haven't come here to become big, fat, blimps. We've come here to be spiritual revolutionaries. We've come here to realize God and to preach, teach in such a way that the whole world can realize God. That's why we're here. You see? So let's go for it. Revolutionize your heart. Revolutionize the world. I was having a little realization this morning. We talk about outreach, distributing the mercy, the books, the kirtan, the prasad, outreach. And there's also the inner development. There's in-reach and outreach. It's actually quite cool, or you could say beautiful, the way they relate with each other, because the more you put your energy into outreach, your inner development automatically comes, you see. The more you preach, the more you distribute books, the more you distribute prasadam, your love of Krishna naturally awakens. And it works the other way too. The more you cultivate, pure chanting of the name, pure relationships with Vaishnavas, the inner development, you see. The more you work on inner development, that enhances the outer. So they actually feed into each other. Revolution within, revolution without. I was one time asked by a disciple, well, how much energy should you put into the revolution within and how much in the revolution without? I said, well, from 4 a.m. till 9 a.m., revolution within, from 9 to 5, revolution without, and then from like that. You have we have our inner cultivation, the morning program, then get out and save the world, right? You see? The outer development. So we have both programs going on here. Actually, Prabhupada said, the most important thing is to save the world. Even more important is to save yourself. Because you haven't saved yourself. What potency you have to save the world, Prabhu? If I'm not purely practicing this process, what is my potency for helping others to purely practice the process? But the more I'm purely practicing this process, I'm empowered to inspire others to do the same thing. There we should be constantly begging for purity. Purity is the force, right? The old slogan. Yeah. We have to be begging for that purity, begging. We have a special prayer for that. You know that prayer? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We're begging for purity. Please, my dear Mother Radharani, please, my dear Krishna, please purify my heart from all this lust, this anger, this greed, this madness, illusion, and envy. Please bless me. I can purely serve you with every thought, word, and deed in all times, places, and circumstances. Begging, begging, begging Krishna for purity, you see. One who does that, he becomes empowered, spreading Krishna consciousness like anything. So we should train our preachers not just to be expert in the external things, but we should train our preachers how to develop within their hearts. Very strongly develop within, you see. Those two things. We see many big preachers, they do big results and they're gone. Even big gurus, finished. You see, why? They were lacking the inner cultivation. Simply external results is very good, but you have to have the inner cultivation along with it, otherwise, here today, gone tomorrow. So we really need to emphasize both things, the external revolution and the internal revolution. Our managers, our preachers should be pushing both of these things very strongly. And if we do that, our movement will indeed take over the world. How soon? I don't know, but sooner the better. It's going to happen. Within this 10,000 year period, this movement will completely conquer the whole world. So let's try to make it happen as soon as ASAP. Spiritual revolution, ASAP. Revolution now. That's our motto here. It's come. We're not just meant to sit in the temple and eat and sleep. We're meant to save the world. Convince the High Court judges with tilak. As we've heard the slogan we've heard many times. So maybe there's some questions, objections, or criticisms, or corrections, or whatever. Yeah. Come here so I can. I'm a little deaf, and he's going to be my hearing aid here. Try to make it out there.
Maharaj, my question was, you mentioned in class that we are expansions of Krishna to give pleasure to Krishna.
That's our very nature. We are meant to please Krishna. That's a fact. That's our very nature.
However, also Prabhupada mentions in purpose that we are here because of our previous karma. So we get bodies according to our previous karma. So I'm just trying to understand that we are also meant to give pleasure to Krishna. That's why we are manifesting from the Lord. However, we are also born here because of our previous karmas.
We were also what? Born here?
Yes. So it seems contradicting because we are here, or we take bodies according to our previous activities. However, we are also meant to please Krishna. So it seems contradicting. If you can clarify that point.
Krishna has given us the free will to love him or to leave him, because love cannot be forced. I put a gun in your head and say, "Oh, Prabhu, love me or I'll blow your brains out." You see? Can you really love me in that condition? Love means voluntary. I have to allow you to love me or leave me, and then you can truly love me. So Krishna is doing that with us. He's giving us the free will to love him or to leave him. That choice is there so love can actually exist. When one misuses that choice, then he ends up here trying to enjoy independently from Krishna. So there's really no contradiction. This is all part of the process so that love can actually exist and Krishna can actually enjoy loving relationships with every single jiva soul. Does that make sense? Next. Yes.
So Krishna, basically what you said in a class, he will actually forever be he will be forever unsatisfied, because always will be conditioned souls in material world who wanted to come here, who want to reject Krishna. They're always, so basically Krishna has always been unsatisfied because of that. This is my question. Krishna has always been unsatisfied because always is some living being who will be in material world, and because of that Krishna is not happy. So if everybody from material world go to spiritual world, he will be completely satisfied, because this is natural situation. But because people all, Prabhupada also said that, and it's always will be a living being who will come to material world, so Krishna will, for this reason, always been unsatisfied. So is it like that?
Krishna will, the fact is that Krishna will always, especially in his form of Lord Chaitanya, he will always be, even one jiva soul is in this material existence, Lord Chaitanya will feel great anxiety because of that event. Therefore, one who takes up the preaching mission of delivering the fallen souls back to Krishna becomes very dear to Lord Chaitanya, because he's helping him to shoulder that anxiety. The fact is, Krishna does feel that his compassion for the living entities, it's not that Krishna doesn't care. Krishna does care. That's why he makes every arrangement to try to get every jiva back as soon as possible to his abode. Say, well, then he's not the. Then you can say, well, how he has the supreme enjoyment if he's in anxiety about our condition? But I can tell you that those who have the quality of compassion, they have, you may say that causes unhappiness, but actually that mood of compassionate gives the greatest, one who's in that mood has the greatest happiness. A compassionate person, a person who doesn't give a damn about anybody, doesn't care if anybody's suffering, he's a miserable person. His aloofness makes him miserable, actually. The more one actually feels compassion for others, he becomes more and more happy within his heart. You understand? Compassionate person has, even though he's feeling anxiety about the suffering of others, he's actually a million times happier than the person who doesn't give a damn about anybody. Okay? The more you feel, in other words, the more one feels compassion for the fallen conditioned soul, even for a devotee. If a devotee tastes more and more transcendental bliss in proportion to the intensity of his compassion for the fallen souls, certainly Krishna must also. He has unlimited anxiety about the fallen souls and unlimited bliss at the same time. You can say. Not that Krishna doesn't give a damn. I have my gopis, I have my Radharani, who cares? No, of course not. He's making all facility. He's expanding himself as a super soul to accompany every single jiva through all those births, as a pig, as a worm in stool. He's going there, just seeing what he can do to help that living entity come back as soon as possible. Got it? Okay, next. Yes.
Gurudev, I think Krishna is really quite far out, and sort of part of what Prabhu is saying, Krishna is ultimately compassionate, because isn't it true that ultimately we all go back to Krishna?
Prabhupada confirms in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya the destiny of every single jiva is to go back to God. And so sooner or later everybody goes back. But there are more who are following also. It's a constant thing. There's actually an unlimited number of living entities in the spiritual world. So the material world will always be here. The people who are coming for the first time. People don't come second time here. But there will be, actually for all of eternity, the material world will be going on, because living entities are testing out their free will, misusing their free will. It'll continue to be going on perpetually for all of eternity. When we go back, that's it. We're safe. Of course, we could fall again twice, But as they say, once burned, twice shy. Once you've experienced, going through all these different births and trying to enjoy and realize it's not your position, we won't make the same mistake twice. So let's just get back to our original position as soon as we can. Even while here in this material world, we don't really need to go back to Godhead. If you're totally absorbed in serving Krishna now, you're already back to Godhead. Even right here in 3764 Watsika Avenue, you can always be already back to Godhead if you're totally absorbed in this mission of Prabhupada to save the world. You see. Anything else, y'all? As we say in Texas, getting ready to go back here. Is that it? Okay, we thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada flooded the whole universe with ecstatic Krishna prema ki jai.